So imagine this for a second. I live up on a private mountain road. It's steep, narrow, and honestly, it was never designed for anything bigger than a standard pickup truck. Everyone who lives here knows that. It's basically an unspoken rule. My house sits right at the very top, so I know every curve, every bend, and every weak spot on that road better than anyone else. One day, I receive a notice from our wonderful Homeowners Association. They're planning to pour a brand new concrete pad for community mailboxes down at the base of the mountain. All right, fair enough. Mailboxes need a solid base. I understand that. But then I read the part where they mentioned that a full-size cement truck will be coming up to deliver it. My jaw nearly hit the floor. A full-size cement truck on our road? No way. Absolutely not. I immediately sent an email to the HOA board. I kept it polite, but very direct. I explained in detail why bringing such a massive, heavy vehicle up that road was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad idea. I described the tight hairpin turn halfway up, the soft shoulder that gives way after rain, and the steep incline that would push any heavy truck's engine and brakes to their limits. I even attached photos I'd taken over the years showing erosion and small washouts. My suggestion was simple. Use smaller trucks and make multiple trips. Or better yet, mix the concrete on site at the bottom. Sure, it would take more effort, but it would be safe. The response I got back was exactly what you'd expect from an HOA that thinks it knows everything. A single, slightly condescending paragraph from the board president, a guy named Bob. Bob lives down at the bottom where the road is flat and easy, and I doubt he's been up my side in years. He basically said, "Thank you for your concern, but our professional contractors have assured us this is perfectly feasible. They've evaluated the situation and are confident there will be no issues." Professional contractors, right? I'm sure they glanced at it from the highway and said, "Yeah, looks fine." Right then, I knew this was going to end badly. I replied one last time, "All right, Bob, just so we're clear, when this goes wrong, I'm not helping." And just for the record, I told you so. A few days later, the big day came. I was working from home when, around mid-morning, I heard it. That deep, grinding rumble of a heavy-duty engine struggling against gravity. It was a sound that absolutely did not belong on our quiet mountain road. I stepped out onto my deck with a fresh cup of coffee and my phone, ready to document what I knew was coming. The noise kept getting louder. Then came the beeping of the truck reversing, more engine strain. And then suddenly, silence. A deep, complete silence. The kind of silence that instantly tells you something's gone very, very wrong. I gave about 10 minutes, just to enjoy the moment, then hopped on my ATV and headed down to see for myself. And there it was, in all its glory. The cement truck was completely wedged, properly stuck, right in the tightest hairpin turn on the road. The driver had tried to make the turn, realized he couldn't, and while attempting to reverse, the rear wheels slipped off the asphalt and sank straight into the soft shoulder I had specifically warned them about. The truck was now tilted at a terrifying angle, its massive mixing drum looking like it could roll down the mountainside at any moment. The road was completely blocked. No one was getting up, and no one was getting down. The driver stood there on his phone, looking completely panicked. I slowly cruised past him along the grassy edge, gave a small nod, and said, "Told you it was a tight corner." He just stared at me, totally defeated. I drove back up to my house, feeling a level of satisfaction that was almost too perfect. Then I spent the rest of the day watching the chaos unfold from my deck. First, the construction foreman arrived in his pickup, took one look, and immediately started yelling into his phone. Then Bob, the HOA president, showed up. Even from a distance, I could see him waving his arms around, his face turning a deep shade of red. Honestly, it was better than any reality TV show. Eventually, they had to call in not one, but two massive heavy-duty tow trucks, a full recovery setup. Getting those trucks up the lower part of the road, without them getting stuck too, was an operation all by itself. The whole ordeal lasted the entire day and went well into the evening. At one point, they even had to close the main road at the bottom. It was an absolute circus. And the aftermath? Even better. The HOA had to pay for the cement truck incident, plus the extremely expensive recovery service. But the best part was the road itself. That section was completely destroyed. The asphalt was cracked, and the shoulder had turned into a muddy mess. They had to bring in another crew just to repair the damage, which cost them a small fortune. All of this could have been avoided if they had simply listened to the one person who actually lives on and uses that road every single day. The final cost? Thousands upon thousands of dollars. Far more than it would cost to just mix the concrete at the bottom like I originally suggested. About a week later, there was an emergency HOA meeting. Of course, I showed up. Bob stood there trying to explain the unexpected circumstances that led to the situation. I let him finish his speech. Then I raised my hand. When he called on me, I smiled politely and said, "Bob, I have all the emails, every single one, where I predicted this, right down to the exact spot on the road. Maybe next time, the professional contractors should check with the people who actually live here." The silence in that room was priceless. Bob didn't even look at me. He just muttered something and quickly moved on. From that day forward, whenever a new project comes up, they make sure to ask for my input first. I guess sometimes the best way to prove a point is to sit back, sip your coffee, and let people learn the hard way. And you know what? Those new mailboxes actually look great. Totally worth it. Thanks for watching. And if you've got your own HOA horror story, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to read it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.